You should never miss a leg day, especially when NBA analyst Tim Legler is here to break down this play-in. Tim, fantastic to see you. It's the Lakers getting the Pelicans Tuesday night. Okay, considering the winner of this 7-8 gets the Nuggets, who are the West's 2 seed, we never advocate for losing a game, but is it in the best interest for the Lakers to not win this, considering who they're going to go up against if they do?
I mean, I think the answer to that's pretty obvious. Yes, they should. I mean, and I know we don't want to talk about, like, trying to lose games. And the problem with it would be you put yourself in a very precarious situation. If you lose that game, you're now in a one-game single elimination situation where you go home if you lose the second game, and anything can happen in a one-off. But to avoid the Denver Nuggets, yes, that's in everybody's best interest in the Western Conference. And this really played out in a strange way, because it looked like the Denver Nuggets here over the last few games, over this last week, were going to be the #1 seed in the Western Conference, and everything was going to fall in line for the Lakers. And if you win the 7-8, you avoid them and potentially avoid them all the way to the conference finals. And lo and behold, everything sort of flip-flopped over the last 48 hours, and now the Lakers find themselves in this situation. So the answer is it in their best interest? It is, but ultimately, you can't let yourself get into a situation where you're playing one game to potentially go home for the summer, which is where they would find themselves if they don't win the 7-8 game.
Okay, understood. They might have a baked-in reason, though, Anthony Davis, the back spasm, if they do need to point something to a loss to the Pelicans. Let's focus on the 7-8 in the East. It's the Sixers, it's the Heat, two teams you could argue going the wrong direction. JoJo missed a ton of time in the regular season, but he's back. He looks pretty healthy, and health is the key point here. How dangerous could Philly be if they can remain healthy through a playoff run?
Yeah, I think they could represent the biggest threat of all in the Eastern Conference to the Boston Celtics. Now, a lot of it's going to depend on Joel Embiid, and, they held him out on Sunday. They said it was just precautionary reasons, and they figured they could beat the Brooklyn Nets without him. But let's see if that's actually the case, because he gave everybody a scare in the game before when he went down, and it looked like it could have been something serious back with that knee again. Assuming he's okay, the way that he has looked here to close out the season, dominant, and more importantly, he is fresh. When you get that many games off, like, you don't have the normal grind on your body that everybody else is feeling. So Embiid is that type of player. He's that dominant that he can now carry you for an extended run in the postseason. And more importantly, he has a co-star next to him that I think gives him tremendous confidence. Tyrese Maxey, I think, is built for this stage. I think he's going to have a huge postseason run. So let's see if Philadelphia can get things going, starting off by beating the Heat and then avoid Boston in that first round, which is critical.
JoJo is fresh. He missed more than half the regular season, 43 regular season games to be exact. The play-in tournament starts Tuesday. It's the Heat and the Sixers, though, playing Wednesday, 7 Eastern. Tim Legler breaking it down this morning on SportsCenter.
Negative spin is an actual fair negative spin. It is. We will get to it coming up. But the NBA playoffs have been set. The regular season is over. 82 games in the books, unless your buddy Heald, who somehow played 84 games this year because of a trade. And let's start in the Western Conference, as we've got Oklahoma City as the 1 seed, which is just an amazing accomplishment. Yeah. The defending champion Denver Nuggets, the 2 seed. Your Minnesota Timberwolves, CC, the 3 seed against Phoenix. All right, I got to ask a question right off the bat. I'm going to go spicy right away.
Wow.
Do you want the Lakers to lose to the Pelicans to avoid the Nuggets and maybe get the 8th seed potentially and play Oklahoma City? Let's just go right there.
Oh.
To go to that side of the bracket?
Yeah.
I don't.
You want them to lose?
It wouldn't be bad.
It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm just saying, LeBron was unbelievable yesterday. Final game of the regular season. They beat the Pelicans.
That is the easier side of the bracket.
You're damn right it is.
That is the easier side of the bracket. To avoid the Timberwolves, to avoid the Denver Nuggets, like that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. But I can't root for them to lose just because it's a one-game winner-take-all. So if you lose that game, then you're in a scenario where you could get bounced in that 9-10 matchup and ultimately end up missing the entire postseason. So, no, I don't want them to lose. I don't think you can pick your adventure at this situation. I think you got to try to get the win and try to advance.
But
there is no but. There is no but. That is it. Hard stop.
Denver's not exciting to face, though.
Well, yeah, it's not exciting to face, but you got to get in the tournament. At least you have a chance when you get in the tournament. I don't want to be in a situation where I lose 2 games and now I'm outside looking in. At least if I'm facing off against Denver, I've got a 7-game series, which means they got to beat me 4 times. I'll, if AD and LeBron are healthy, I'll take my chances. Now, I don't think they're very good, but they're, I'd rather be in that situation than a single elimination proposition.
It is kind of a pick your poison, though, because it is a much easier route if you avoid Denver, but that is a risk that you might miss it altogether. But I wouldn't want to play them. I would not want to play Denver if I'm LA.
So which series? So right now we have Oklahoma City as the 1. They're going to play the winner of the 9-10, who will go up against the loser of the 7-8. So that's going to be one of Golden State, Sacramento, New Orleans, and LA. The 4-5 Clippers and Dallas, who have played each other a bunch in the playoffs recently. The 3-6 is sneaky juicy in Minnesota and Phoenix. Phoenix gets in yesterday and avoiding the play-in. And then Denver gets the winner of New Orleans and the Lakers. If I gave you only one series in the West to watch, which one do you want to watch right now?
Oh, it's Clippers Mavericks, right? I mean, that is going to be spicy. I think the winner of that series is going to the conference finals. And no disrespect to Oklahoma City Thunder, but it is disrespect to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Right.
You know, you're talking about a team that 2 years ago finished, 40 games behind the leader in the Western Conference. So, I mean, this is an organization, a roster that's on the come. And everybody's excited about what they have and what they could potentially be building, but I think this is just a year early, right? I mean, you got to get to the postseason and have some experience before you actually go on one of those deep championship runs. And so I think it might be a year too early for Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And now with the 1 seed, knowing that, there are expectations that come along with that, I just think that under those circumstances, with that kind of pressure under the playoff lights, it's going to be a different situation. And conversely, for Luka and Kyrie, I mean, I don't know that there's a better tandem in basketball in terms of how well those two are playing right now and how this Dallas Mavs team has picked it up over the last month or so of basketball. Like, they're one of the best defensive teams over the last month of basketball, and nobody is talking about it. There has been something that has clicked into place. They've juggled the lineup a little bit. A couple of the players that they acquired during the trade deadline are starting to play integral roles on that team, and they're really, really starting to find their footing in terms of being able to develop that chemistry that it takes in order to compete for a championship. So, to me, the winner of Mavs-Clippers is going to be in the conference finals.
I actually don't think it's disrespectful to say what you said. I know what you did in terms of no disrespect to a 1 seed, but because, as you said, Oklahoma City is a year in advance, to say they get to the second round and lose a lengthy series in the second round with a team that literally half these guys probably aren't even old enough to drink, I don't think that's disrespectful. I think that's fair in their progression. I don't think that's saying that they can't win a title one day, can't go to the finals one day. You're playing up against either Luka and the Mavs or Kawhi Leonard, who has won a title with 2 different teams, and the Clippers. You probably should lose that series in the second round, despite what you did in the regular season. I totally agree with you. Whoever wins Dallas and the Clippers, everyone is going to pick to go to the conference finals. It is not crazy. I'm not saying it's likely, but it is not crazy, Smalls, that the 1, 2, and 3 seeds in the Western Conference all lose in the first round. Very unlikely, but not crazy.
The 2 seed?
If LeBron James beats Jokic in the first round, that's that surprising? With arguably the second greatest player of all time, and if Anthony Davis, who he wasn't healthy yesterday, but if he is healthy, is it that ridiculous?
It's not that ridiculous when you frame it that way, but Jokic has just been so dominant. And if we're talking about playoff history, we have recency bias with Denver. So I guess I would be a little surprised because I'm already penciling them in at least the conference finals.
I think most people would. I'm just saying it's a rare year where I got to be honest. I know we're going to get to the Eastern Conference in a little bit.
Yeah.
If you told me the 1, 2, and 3 in both conferences lost in the first round, I'm not that shocked.
I would be shocked with Denver.
I would be shocked.
With which one?
Denver.
Denver?
Specifically.
So let me play out how I would get to not being that shocked. Western Conference would have to be Lakers would beat the Pelicans and play the Nuggets. And then the winner of the Kings and the Warriors would have to be the Warriors for me. Then they beat the Pelicans, and you'd have the Thunder and the Warriors in the first round. Is it that crazy to think the Warriors could win that? To me, no. You'd have the Nuggets and the Lakers in the first round. I could see the Lakers potentially winning. And Phoenix beating Minnesota is not that crazy at all. There's the 1, 2, and 3 in the West Where if you tell me that you have LeBron James and Steph Curry and Kevin Durant in the bottom of that seating, is that crazy?
No, it's not that crazy. But if the way we talk about Jokic and the impact that he's making on the game and where he's going to rank historically, the way we talk about him after he's coming off winning the NBA Finals and another dominant season, I guess I would be a little surprised. Despite it being LeBron, despite it being AD, Denver is a better team than the Lakers are.